So
That's me.
nice to see you again, Dave.
Good to see you.
Are you going this evening?
I will be. Are you?
Excellent. Yes. We're talking about the LAD film that's advocates are presenting on PBS tonight. So we'll do a little advertisement for them.
Yep, we are so excited. Maggie going with you, Joanne?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm going to be driving back and forth across the state today. Not an unusual day. Good thing it's a small state.
Yeah, that's good though.
Hi, Cliff,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, thanks.
It's good to see you.
Good to
Sounds
see
it
you.
sounds like Cliff the red dog.
Yeah, Cliff.
Ah,
Great.
you're absolutely right.
All right, we are at 11 o'clock, and I am Joanne Melise from Living Innovations. And I'd like to introduce my coworker here, Cliff Alston. And we have several panelists that will be joining us. Hopefully, um, they will be able to get in as we proceed. And Deanne, do you think we're okay to start, or should I give it another moment or two? There are 9 people.
I I think maybe one more minute and then get started, just because people are having issues finding the room and getting sent in and stuff like that. So
Completely agree. And we go until what time?
till 12.
Till 12. We got the full hour. That's good.
Yeah.
Not the therapist 50-minute hour. As you all can tell, I've had the pleasure of knowing and working with Deanne for many, many years.
For a while, yeah.
Good woman.
It's been great.
You tell me when and I'll start sharing.
I'm looking at the clock now. When it hits 2, I'll let you know.
The countdown.
The countdown. Oh, look at that. It hit 2.
And action.
So you are free to start.
All right, let's see if I can get to the beginning here. How is that?
That is beautiful. I can
Looking
see
good.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Everyone can see, I'm assuming, so we're ready to go. Thank you all for coming. I am Joanne Melise. I'm the director of Living Innovations, but more than that, I'm someone who's worked in the system for a very long time. And I am thrilled to be able to tell you about shared living. So I've already introduced you folks to Cliff. And at the end of this PowerPoint, we will be turning the microphone and the camera over to Allie and Brittany and Sue and Deb, who are all participating in shared living, and they'll be able to tell you a little bit what it's really like. And there will be time for questions, which we would love to have. So, and all the pictures that you're going to see are ones that I have permission to use, and it gives you an idea of who lives in shared living and who can do shared living. It's very hard not to be able to have a conversation with people with folks muted, but I'll try to live with it. So this is the state definition of shared living. It's a little long, it's a little boring. It was taken from the website. I don't believe in reading things to you, but I will talk over. It's there if you want to read it. It's from the state website. But basically, shared living is when somebody needs to move out of their home or needs a good, safe place to live. We have qualified people who want to take people into their homes. We introduce them, and they decide to live together and share their lives. This is the other part of the definition. This is a picture of a home provider and somebody that chose to live in shared living. The really big thing to remember about shared living, it's your choice. The person has to decide they want to do this, and then the person has to decide who they want to live with. The other part is the home provider has to decide they want you to live with them. And as long as you two want to live together, we support you. You become part of their family. And as you can see in this picture, you get to travel together with them. Most people don't know this, but shared living has been around for a very long time. It's been around since 1986, which is probably older than most people that are on this call. There are over 400 people in Rhode Island that live in shared living. Nobody knows about it. One of the reasons I wanted to do this seminar, this conference, is to let more people know about it. Everybody knows about living with families, you know about group homes, but nobody knows about shared living. So, except the folks who are on this call who live in shared living. And we support about 175 people at Living Innovations live in shared living. And this is the other cool part. We have open homes that are waiting for people, good people like you, who might want to live with them. Remember, it's a choice. So people wonder who can live in shared living. So here are just a couple of pictures of people. I'm going to tell you a little bit about their stories. Cliff, keep an eye on my time if I'm going too long. The first gentleman here, who's holding a water hose, he's helping to water the garden. He came up through DCYF, through foster care, and then he turned 21. And he decided to, he stayed with his foster mom, who became his shared living provider. And she provided wonderful care to him. He was very active in the community, went to church with her regularly. But she got a little older, and it got hard for her to lift him and to move him. So we worked with her and found a wonderful home provider who he lives with. Who modified his home, put a ramp in and put the special equipment, and he's living with a guy and living the dream. The next lady came to us when she was pregnant.
Wow.
And, normally, unfortunately, quite often when people with disabilities are pregnant, or DCYF gets involved, and quite often they intervene and take the child. We were able to work with her and work with the state. It was a lot of hard work to support her to keep her child. So she came to us in an emergency. Somebody took great care of her. The home provider said, I will help her keep her healthy through her pregnancy, but I don't want to raise a baby. I've raised my babies, which was good. And it gave us time to find the right match for her. She lives in shared living with home providers who help her raise her daughter. They don't have custody of her daughter. She has custody of her daughter. This is a very old picture. I think her daughter's about 8 or 9 right now, but they help her mother. They help her be the best mom she can be. By the way, some of these videos are on YouTube and on our website. The next one is a couple who is married. And they were married. The woman in the middle is the mother-in-law of the woman in the marriage, who supported 2 of them. They'd lived together. And it's not always great to live with your mother-in-law. Some of us know that. And so they have moved into another shared living home where they are supported as a married couple. So you can be married, you can have a significant other. Shared living is usually just one person in a home. It can be as many as 2. And in this case, in the case of a married couple, they live together. And you may recognize the guy in the 4th picture there is our friend Cliff. And this woman lived most of her life in group homes. And you can see she has some significant physical issues and medical issues. She became ill. And they said, oh, you got to go to a nursing home. And she said, I'm not going to a nursing home. I almost died one time when I was in a nursing home. She needed more care than the group home could legally provide to her. And the
Mhm.
woman in the middle said, I know her. I love her. I'm going to modify my home. She can come live with me. And she does. So we talked about that one as being our Valentine one because they moved in together on Valentine's Day about a year ago.
Mm.
So people wonder and often question, why another family? I live with my family. Why would I want to do this? And I would say just because you have a disability doesn't mean that you have to stay with your family forever. People grow up, they move out of the homes. That's what we do in this country. So it gives you a chance to be more independent. Um, every time you live with somebody, you learn something new. You get to
Mhm.
explore the world. You get to meet their friends and their family too. And you can keep your family if you so choose, but you're more independent on your own and you have more people in your life. So here again is the picture of the married couple. Um, and it could be whether you're legally married or in a committed relationship, this might be the opportunity for two people who really love and are committed to each other to live together. This is the really cool thing. When I started doing shared living 19 years ago, I was surprised how many people had never left Rhode Island, had never been on a plane, have never traveled. Now, this might be for the able-bodied population as well, but people say, the person in my care, can they come with me? And I say, of course you can, as long as we know where you're going, when you're coming back, you safety plan, and you bring me a postcard. Now that everybody has phones with takes pictures, I don't get as many postcards, but in our office, there are 4 of these big frames with all the different places in the state and the world that people have gone on. I can't tell you how many cruises people have gone on. They keep a third of their Social Security, which is over $300 a month for personal needs. This lady in the middle is on her second trip to Africa with her home provider, where she's met
Wow.
the home provider's family of origin and has been embraced by them all. She's also been to Paris. So anything, like I said, innumerable cruises, the Caribbean and across the country. It's very life fulfilling for people. Who are these home providers? Where are our shared living? The abbreviation for shared living is an SLA, shared living arrangement. They're all over the state. We are in every single county in the state. We are in the cities. We are rural. These home providers are younger or older. Some are single, some are married, some have dogs or cats, and some don't. Some have young children. But when we do the matching, these are things we ask you what you like. Who
Mhm.
are they? We run a lot of background checks. In fact, at Living Innovations, we run more background checks than the state even requires.
Yep.
We know everything about people. We ask questions of them. Because these people who work for us are contractors, not employees, we can ask questions that staff at group homes are not allowed to ask. We know people's background. We know if they're comfortable working with people who are gay or transsexual or whatever people are. And we make sure that they're good, clean homes. We know them, and they are a contractor, and we hold them to doing it. We train them, and we make sure they're good, safe people. Why do they do this? They're good people. They have kind hearts. They come from a culture where it takes a village and you take people in. That's their norm. A lot of them have worked in group homes or apartment programs or are CNAs, have worked in nursing homes. And one of my home providers said, I get more than I give. I think that sums up what kind of people these are. Recently, over the past few years, we've been able to make some changes to the state regulations. So a family member, if there's somebody you know and you love, you have an aunt, you have a cousin, you have a niece, nephew who loves you and you love them, we can support them as becoming a shared living provider, and we can support people to live together, which is really cool. Right now, parents can't do it. We're hopefully maybe something may change in the future about this, but this is a picture. You can kind of tell they look a little alike. These are two sisters. The woman who's resting comfortably on her sister's shoulder, she came to us 16 years ago or so because she was living with a stepmother in a basement, and it really wasn't a good living situation at all. Her sisters had grown, moved out, and had married. She stayed in touch with her sisters. Every year they all went on cruises together. They took the home provider on the cruise with them. So families become kind of enmeshed, become one. But her sister's life changed, one of her older sisters, and she wound up becoming a shared living provider and was able to take her sister into her home. So they live together now, and they're doing really well. And here's a not well kept secret: they're about to go to Europe together, Germany. So everybody knows about group homes. And I want to be very clear. I believe in group homes. I believe we need them as part of our system. I believe we need to support people to live on their own, to live with their families, but this is just another choice. One of the differences about SLA over a group home is your staff doesn't change every 7 hours. You got the same person there for you all the time. It's your choice. You pick them. People in group homes, they get a vacancy. That's where they're put. Nobody gets placed in shared living. You choose to live with somebody. When I ask people who came from group homes, what's the difference? Invariably, they say, it's quiet, it's calm, it's all about me. You don't have to wait for the van is going somewhere you may or may want to go. You go with the home provider if you want. You go grocery shopping when you want. It's all custom about you. And if you're living with your family, you're going from a family that loves you, hopefully, to another family that loves you. And it also gives parents peace of mind knowing where you are. They're involved in helping you make the decision. This is a quote. This is going to be the one time I'll really read to you. This is a gentleman who came up through foster care, who lived in group homes. He was pretty violent in group homes because it wasn't where he wanted to live. And I asked him what was the difference. And he said, very simply, when I go to bed, Lisa's there. When I wake up in the morning, Lisa's there. There's consistency. There's love. So who's involved in helping you be matched? We talk at Match. Again, we don't put people places they don't want to be. It's up to the person. It's your choice who you want involved. You could want your family involved. You could not want them involved. We respect you. Who do you want? Do you want your state caseworker involved? Do you want your conflict-free case manager? Are you in school? Do you want them involved? Anyone that's important to you helps you make the decision, or you can make it all by yourself, and that's okay. When we do the matching, this is the thing that Cliff and I love to do. We're careful. We're very careful. We think about, where do you want to live? There are some people that will say, for instance, I've always lived in Woonsocket. I got to still live in Woonsocket. It's not that big a state. You can move out of town and learn new things. I love that Deanne's laughing here. What's important in your life? Do you like to be active? Do you like to sit around at night? Is it important for you to be connected to your church or to your family? All of those things. What are your medical needs? We can support people, for instance, who are insulin dependent on because of their diabetes. We have to make sure we have a home provider who knows how to do that or can be trained to do that. So the home provider is responsible, making sure you go to your doctor's appointments and everything else, providing documents to us. But we look for what are the similar interests. We have people that love to go to sporting events. That's okay. We'll match you with somebody we tried. We just matched a young man, 20 years old, likes to do video games. Gee whiz, he's moving into a house where they play video games. So here's Maggie, and you saw her picture earlier. I told you her background with not wanting to go to a nursing home. And since she's moved in with Dawn, this is Dawn right here. I think within the first month, and Cliff, you can correct me, I think within the first month of her living together, they went to New York City. Maggie loves sports, and they went to a Yankees game at Yankee Stadium. She's been to several Broadway shows since then. I'm sorry, Cliff.
No, I was going to say, they also just recently went on a cruise.
And you would look at Maggie, would she have had this opportunity if she was in a group home? I think you know the answer. So she couldn't be happier. And if you go to the CPNRI website, their story is on there about how they came to live together. So this is how we do matching. We will tell the person, hey, we found this home provider. We think it may be a good match. Let me tell you a little bit about them. You say, yeah, I'd like to meet them, or no. And that's okay to say no to us. We tell the home provider, hey, this is something about you. Do you want to meet? Okay, you want to meet? Where would you like to meet? You can come to our office. We could do it at the home provider's house. My favorite place to meet is Dunkin' Donuts because everybody in Rhode Island loves Dunkin' Donuts. They meet and you both decide, do you want to meet again? Would you like to do lunch? Would you like to go to the home provider's house? Would you like to have a dinner? And you keep meeting with each other regularly and decide if you want to live together. Does this sound like dating to anyone?
No.
Okay. So you keep meeting until you're both comfortable. You do a sleepover. And whenever you are both ready, you tell us, yeah, we're ready to live together. Of course, this is sanctioned by the state, so we have to have a meeting or two and submit paperwork, and we set a date for you to move. We continue to monitor. We're involved. You get a coordinator from our office. We make sure things go smoothly. We make sure that we help you and your family to adjust to living together. And we visit the homes regularly, and we can even do unplanned visits if we like. My job is number one, to make sure people are healthy and safe.
Mhm.
We're always there. We're on 24-hour call. We have a nurse and a behaviorist that works with us. The state knows that if they have an emergency, God forbid something happens to somebody's family member over a weekend or in the middle of the night, we have safe, nurturing homes that will gladly support somebody. People think shared livings don't last long. I'm here to tell you that's not true. I've been doing this 19 years. We have homes that have been in existence for 19 years. They last as long as people want them to last. And if something happens, quite often somebody says, I'm ready for a new home provider. We ask if you can give us 30-day notice, and then we introduce you another shared living home when we start the process again. There's some people that like to move every few years, and that's okay. But as you can see here, over 60% of the people have been doing this. The home providers have been doing this for more than 6 years. And about a quarter of them have been doing it for more than 11 years.
So I'm trying
So
to.
with that, I'm going to stop speaking and turn it over to Cliff. And we're going to introduce you to Brittany, Allie, Sue, and Deb. Hopefully everybody is on. And this is, if you want to go to channel 12 and check out the roadshow, Cliff and Brittany, and that's Michael, her home provider, will be able to tell their stories. And that's it, and that's us.
I love it. Thank you so much, Joanne. Yeah, we can start with some of our folks. I think I see everybody in here. I saw Brittany. I see, I think, Allie. I know Deb and Sue were having some issues, Joanne, with the microphone, but hopefully we're working. So why don't we start with our friend Brittany? Brittany, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm Brittany.
Go ahead, Brittany, the floor is yours. Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody and maybe how long you've been in shared living and maybe what town you're in?
All right, I'm Brittany. I have lived in shared living for 5 to 6 years in Pawtucket with my provider, Mr. Mike. And before I lived in shared living, I lived with my family. And I would describe my life in shared living as like coming from high school, living with my mom, and then when I came to shared living, I had a tragic event happen, and then good thing I graduated on high school on time.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was it was an amazing event.
Yeah. So what Brittany's saying is there's a pretty there's a life-changing event she had in her family which
Yeah.
brought us together, right? I received
Oh
a phone
yeah.
call about you.
Thank you, Cliff, for rephrasing that.
Yeah, no, that's you could tell Brittany's done a lot of these with us before, and she was just rolling right into her story, so that was fantastic.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. I was like how I was able to meet my home provider was like it was like amazing story because it was like family I chose.
That,
I'm
that's
still on a meeting.
that's wonderful, Brittany. Tell everybody a little bit about what life is like with you and Michael and the things that you guys get to do.
Oh yeah, you know it's like some things we get to do is like oh man. The first thing we wake up in the morning is sometimes I get to cook a breakfast sometimes.
Which is great because you've always said you wanted to become more independent and learn how to cook, right?
Yeah, yes. And the amazing part of that, of being more independent, is that I like get to learn how to finance my own money and plan my own doctor appointments. I'm learning more independent skills than I think I am doing now.
Oh yeah, no, you've come a long way. Those were 2-year goals for a long time, and you're
Oh
really doing
yeah.
amazing with them.
And upcoming goals we are planning this summer is going to either Mystic Aquarium, Block Island, or Six Flags in Massachusetts.
Lots of trips. I love it. That's fantastic.
And what we usually do, that things that are fun, and like we usually go to cookouts and family gatherings to Mr. Mike's family.
Yep.
And I gotta say, Mr. Mike is his culture is African style, so like gotta say the music is pretty loud.
But that's wonderful. So you've kind of been brought into his life and his family and
Oh yes,
that's what it's all about.
Yes, I do. I get to got introduced into his culture, so I get to know more about the music taste.
Well, can I ask you something else about family?
Yes, I
Right,
can.
so you obviously you're involved with Michael's family. What about your family?
My family, I get to still be involved with my family. It's just that I get along with them and give them a little more space when I moved out, and they are more happier and I'm more happier, but I still visit them on a daily basis.
Yeah, yeah. And you've done some pretty big things with your family over the last couple of years, right?
Oh yes, I
Yes.
was part of my brother's wedding. I was the bridesmaid in his wedding. It was amazing. Oh my goodness, I cried throughout that wedding.
Well, that's great. But what about your own personal life? How's your life been since you've been in shared living?
Oh, I have a fiance.
You know where I'm going with this question. You know what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
yeah, I am. I have a fiance. Let's just stay with that, okay, Cliff?
So life is pretty good for you, huh?
Life is going very wonderful so far.
Good. Well, Britt, let me ask you this. What would you want to tell anybody who's thinking about shared living, or what do you think people should know about it?
Well, I want to tell everybody, it's like it protects yourself and it protects the options you have with like in life like that you never get to explore and or never experienced before. It's just an amazing opportunity, I have to say. Like there's things I never got to explore, but now I'm getting to explore now.
Oh, that's wonderful, Brittany. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. And
go ahead.
And it's also a family choose too. So I gotta say, so sometimes it takes like Joanne said, it takes time to pick a family, like to choose the right match, but it'll come to you when it comes to you.
I don't think I could have said it any better, Brittany. If anybody has any questions for Brittany, please feel free. This is kind of an open forum right now. So.
Oh yes, shout out your questions, please.
I think is that you, Allie? You have a question?
No, Alicia had a question.
Yes.
So we should go to Allie next.
Okay. All right. So let's go.
Alicia
next.
had a question.
Oh, sorry, Alicia. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Alicia, yep. Go ahead. I was going to try to unmute you, but I see you're unmuted now.
I have a question.
Fire away.
Would a shared provider would stay in the same, would be the same, would like do stuff with me if I wanted to live in shared living.
You want to make sure that a shared living provider does stuff with you if you're in shared living?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think like Joanne was saying during the presentation, we put a lot of work into making sure it's a good match. So if there were certain things that you really love to do, we would make sure that those are some of the things that people in that home like to do as well. And when people, when people are matched up and they have a lot of the same things in common, right? That's when it really works and it becomes very successful.
I've been in Avatar for like 25 years.
Yeah.
I came here when I was 21.
Yeah.
I'm 45. I'm gonna be 46 this year.
And you're interested?
I'm interested in shared living.
Wonderful.
I mean, that's a really good point to bring up. What do you do if you're interested in doing shared living? And I think one of the first things, obviously feel free to, if your family's involved, to let them know, but your state caseworker or your conflict-free case manager is the first place to go and say, hey, I'm interested in shared living. And if they say that makes sense for you, we absolutely would love to work with you. So I'd love at this point, Cliff, let's bring Allie in because Allie is very cool. She is not with Living Innovations. She's been doing shared living for a very long time. She's a champion about it, and we'd love to hear about her experience. Thanks for joining us, Allie.
Thank you. I'm Allie Worthen, and I've been with my SLA provider in Jamestown, Rhode Island, for about, I would say, 16 years. And I love them, and they love me. And also, like, we've gone to Florida, we've gone to Cape Cod. You can do a lot of stuff with your SLA provider that you can't do in a group home, like Joanne said. And, it's it's a blessing in disguise, You you just have a lot of fun. And I don't know how more blessed I can be. You know? So, and we have two dogs. They're so cute. I just took them for a walk yesterday, and they they make me get out every day or sometimes. So,
Very nice. Allie, do you remember what life was like before shared living?
well, that's the thing. Like when I was in a home in Newport, I was feeling like, no, I need to get out of this. I need to get out of the home that I was in and be free. Like I take the bus now to places. Um, it's not just my provider that's taking me places. I also take the bus. That gives me the biggest freedom, you know. And they're right. They do take you to your doctor's appointments. They take you wherever you want to go. And it's like I said, it's a blessing.
And Allie, I'm sorry, you may have said this before, but how long have you been in the shared living?
15 to 16 years.
15, 16 years. Wow, good for you.
Yes. And
Uh,
I love them. And I've known one of them since they lived on in Newport.
yeah.
And they're just great.
And you mentioned you do a lot of traveling, your independence has increased.
Yes, yes. And another thing about shared living is you can go see your family. Like my mother lives in South Carolina. You can go see, I can go see her. I can call her whenever I want to.
Yeah. So tell us about that. Have you traveled to South Carolina to see your family?
Yes, yes.
gotten on that plane and taken that trip?
Yep.
Good for you. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. You know, it's all fun.
Oh. So, Allie, let me ask you this. If you were talking to somebody who was thinking about shared living, maybe was a little interested, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to talk to their parents or whoever their director is and say, you know, can I, because this is how I did it. I don't know. It might not have been the right way, but I filled out an advocacy statement. You can also talk to the state. There's many ways to be in a shared living arrangement. And I hope everybody does it. I mean, it's great.
That's wonderful. I love hearing that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Does anyone have any questions for Allie? Deanne, was that your hand?
Yeah, I actually have a question. So Allie, you mentioned you can do all this stuff, right? And you've been living there for 16 years. Did you ever move? Did you ever have to move, or is this your first? Was this the one that you knew you wanted to be in? Like, did you ever have to move?
This was the one.
This is the one.
This was the one.
Awesome. I think it's good to know that, because as Joanne and Cliff have already said, you know, some people they think they can't move or they're not sure about it. So it's important, or sorry, that it doesn't last very long. And I think that's you've proven it, Ally, because 60 years is a long time. So I just think it's important to know that you can move, or you know, it works, and you're not locked into something. There's always
No,
you
you
try
never
new
locked into
things.
something.
Right.
Nope.
That's good. Yeah, sometimes when it's right, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. Oh, thank you. And thank you, Deanne. Thank you for that. Does anybody else have any questions?
I'm going to jump in because we
Please.
all live in such a small state. Allie, I happen to know who at least one of your home providers, and fabulous person, wonderful, good choice on your part.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate hearing that.
Couldn't be better. Even though she's not in our program, I complete respect for Allie and her home providers. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
Right. Next, we have Deb and Sue. Deb, how's your microphone? No good, huh? Let's see. I'm just kind of playing around here, seeing if I have any way to unmute it or anything.
I have tried to unmute. I can't seem to unmute the.
Is it?
Yeah, I went there.
Oh, you didn't.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we knew we would have a technical glitch. I'm going to fill in, and Cliff and I will fill in. Deb and Sue, is it okay if I share some of your story? Okay. Deb is one of our superlative shared living providers, so we thought it would be good for you to meet Deb and hear her story. And Sue has a very interesting story, so nod your head or shake it if I'm not telling the truth here. I happened to meet Sue's family, her wonderful brother. She has two brothers that care a great deal about her, who are very involved with her. But at the time that I met them, I want to say it 8 years ago, maybe, or something like that. Sue came from a very loving family. Her parents really cared about her and took care of she and her brothers very, very well. And as her parents aged, they, as many parents do, want to know what's next for my loved one, what's next for my child. Speaking as a parent, all we want to know is that our children are doing well and are launched and that their life looks good. And Sue's parents were just like that. So they said, well, when we pass, the house that we live in will become Sue's, and we'll have a private agency, a group home agency, manage the home. Is that right, Sue? So an agency, it came to pass that Sue was living in her house when her parents passed, and the agency made it into a group home. And I think there were 3 other people that lived in the home with you. They moved people in and they ran it as a group home. But it was Sue's home, but it wasn't Sue's home. It was Sue's home that she had grown up in, but there was somebody else in charge saying when she ate, where she went, when the van was going, where it was going, what she was going to do during the day. And it was not a really happy arrangement for Sue. It was not the way that she wanted to live, and her brothers weren't happy because she wasn't happy. They continued to be very involved in Sue's life, and she always went and visited and always stayed close with her brothers. And then the agency said, you know what? We don't want this group home anymore. We're gonna shut down Sue's house. We're not gonna run it as a group home, and we're gonna move people. And again, I like group homes. We need them in part of our system. But Sue got plunked in another home. Quite often with group homes, if there's a vacancy, that's where you go. They try to make people compatible with each other. I think the agencies do the best they can. But instead of living with someplace she chose, she was living in this group home. She wasn't happy. She lost her home. Her brothers weren't happy. And okay, I'm getting the story right. Yes. And so then I was called in by a lawyer that the family was involved with, because the lawyer knew about shared living. And they asked me to come in and explain to her loving brothers what it was. I said, there's nothing I can do with you or for you about that agency or about the group home, but I am more than willing to try to find a good match for Sue, which they weren't quite sure of. You know, they're loving, protective brothers. They weren't quite sure about it, but they were willing to give it a shot. And Sue has been living with Deb for many years now. She was in a different home at first, and over a period of time that it was good, then it went not so good. And we get involved with people. We have our coordinators go out every month. How are things going? What can we do? They'll talk to the person that lives in shared living. They'll talk to the home provider. They'll talk to them together. And Sue wasn't happy, and it wasn't working, and that's okay. You know, some of us have lived with roommates. Some of us have lived with spouses, and it doesn't work out sometimes over time. It's okay. We'll find a better match. And so we were able to match her with Deb. And I think, Sue, tell me if I'm correct, it's been a love fest ever since. I'm going to turn it over to Cliff if I missed anything. And wait a minute, her brothers are very happy. Her brothers were kind of like, I felt like they were gunning for bear when I met them. Now, don't tell them I said this, they're like pussycats. They love Deb. They have embraced Deb as part of their family. Deb has embraced them. They do things together. Sue still stays involved and goes home when she wants to one of her brother's homes. And it's gone really, really well. Cliff, anything I miss?
No, you hit the nail right on the head. Sue and Deb are 2 peas in a pod. Really living their best life together, and really, you know, I've heard Deb say it before. She gets just as much, if not more, out of this than Sue does. They really, I mean, they're matched up wonderfully.
And to add, what's a little different about their situation than Allie's or Brittany's is there are 2 people that live with Deb. She supports 2 people in a shared living. But when that happens, not only does Deb get a say into who's joining her home, but the other person gets a say too. We got to make sure people are compatible. So if Sue didn't get along with Alex, who lives in the home, it wasn't going to happen. So everybody has to get along. Everybody has a choice. And at any point, one of them can say, this isn't working. And that's okay. Like I said, we always have good, safe places for people. I'll turn it back to you, Cliff.
Yeah, I think I hate to say it, I think you guys are even starting to resemble each other a little bit more now, Deb. So it's that's how well it's going, you know. So so that's who we have for our panel right now. But again, the floor is always open if anybody has any questions about the individuals or just shared living in general. Again, I leave it open to you guys if we can help in any other way.
Hello,
Oh, yep, go ahead. Is that you, Susan?
I'm Susan Birch. I know you. Did
Susan,
you
your
go
name
to?
your name
Huh?
sounds very familiar, Susan.
Yeah, do you go to the Special Olympics?
I've been known to go to I was a coach for about 15, 16 years. Yep.
Because the day I fell, you picked me up last year.
It's like a metaphor for what we do here, you know. I'm glad you look like you look like $1,000,000. You look like you're doing great. So
Yes, I'm new all this. I'm
Mhm.
new.
Yep.
I did because my brother called Michelle or Joanne that wants me to live to somebody else.
That's why I knew your name. Yep.
Oh,
I saw you in here not too long ago.
oh,
So,
that's right. 2 weeks
yep.
ago.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then because I live in apartment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my brother wants me share somebody,
Mm-hmm.
somebody. But that's all. This is all new for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like Joanne said, it's the best kept secret, you know. And hopefully, just from hearing the stories of the folks we had here today, I hope that helps give you a good idea on what life is like
Oh yeah,
when you find the right match. And I know Michelle is working diligently right now to try to find you a good match.
oh yeah. I
Yeah.
think I have to meet somebody. In is a D, a B.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. We don't have to say the name in here, but again, I know they're putting a lot of work into it.
Because I live here. I have a partner, and I live here 6 years.
Yeah.
A long
And,
time.
and Susan, if I might, I've had the pleasure of talking with your brother. And
Yeah,
is it okay if I tell a little bit about you?
sure.
Just a little bit. But Sue again comes from a loving family and is living on her own in an apartment. And sometimes that works. And not about Sue, but some of the people that have come to us from apartments say, gee, I like living there, but I need a little more help. Or I forgot to do this. Or I'm lonely. I'm living all by myself. And in our system, we often think that living in an apartment is the best thing ever, but a lot of the people that have come to us from apartments are kind of lonely there. So it's nice to have somebody there to remind you to take your meds, or it's time to do this, or it's time, let's get you to the dentist, all of those things. And so in Sue's case, and that wasn't about her, but in Sue's case, her brother said, I think she needs a little more help. What can we do to support her in the community where she wants to live and the activities that she wants to live and her job that she wants to keep? So we're trying to take all those factors into play to find the right match for her. Thank you for letting me share that.
You're welcome.
And I'm very excited to see where your journey takes you, Susan.
I'm very busy.
Yeah.
She is very busy. I can justify that.
She knows me.
We'll do this next year and we'll tell you all about Sue's journey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? You guys have been a wonderful group. The questions and the comments have been wonderful.
Well, Cliff, it's Brandon Dussault on. I'm on this call. I've been in shared living for 2 years, almost 3, with my provider Riley Raymond and his wife Megan Dyer. They've been very helpful to me, and I would recommend people to go to Avatar. I know you guys have a good agency too. I
Mhm.
think Avatar's a good agency as well.
Mhm.
they're very helpful, and I'm learning to be more independent as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. I know your home providers, Brandon. So that's
You
fantastic.
do?
I do, yeah. From the business,
Yes.
But no, that's fantastic to hear. And you know what? And there are other agencies that do this. And our goal is
Yeah.
just to get the word out there, make sure people know their options, that people are happy. That's all that
Right.
matters. Yeah.
Right. And I finally got back in touch with my mom for I've not been in touch with her since I was 18,
Yeah.
but I ended up getting back in touch with her because my dad ended up passing away.
Sorry to hear
And it was very tough for her to comprehend that, and I had to go up to the house. My providers took me up to my house where I grew up, and they were there to support me and my mom and my brother. So that's what I really liked about it, you know.
Good. Well,
So
I'm glad it's worked out well for you.
yes, me too.
Good. Thank you so much for all of that feedback. I think
You're
that's
welcome.
almost everybody in here has spoken now. I think. Oh no. Yep. Go ahead, Allie. I see you
Allie.
again.
Ali, you're muted.
I'm sorry to hear that, Brandon.
Thank you very much.
Were there
All right.
other questions about shared living or the process or what you need to do to explore it more? Carlina, was your hand raised?
Sheree?
Yeah.
What do you have to do to live in shared living?
I think that's a good point to reiterate again, say it again.
What do you have
to
to
do?
do to live in shared living?
You can, like I said, talk to the state and talk to your whoever your provider is, and they'll help you.
Do you have a state caseworker?
Yes.
You know
Start
who
with-
she is? He or
Oh.
she is?
I think her name's Julie.
Was it Judy Smith maybe?
Yeah.
Judy Smith maybe.
Yeah, talk to her.
Did she retire?
Oh yeah, you might be right. I'm not sure then.
If it helps, Alicia, I wrote your name down while this was going on because you look like it's something you might be interested in. I can make a call to the state level and maybe see if your caseworker, or if Judy's not there, maybe her supervisor can reach out to you and give you a call. Okay,
Yeah, so
if that'll be helpful. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cliff, her name is Sheree, the one that asked the question.
Oh, I got you.
Sheree.
Okay. Thank
Sorry.
you. I might as well write the right name down.
Alicia's right next to her, but Sheree is the one that asked the question.
their
Thank you.
team. Deanne, is there a way to, or the best way to get our phone number out there if they have questions or
Yeah.
want to follow up?
Yeah, so I could certainly, Sheree, you're part of the leadership class, or I could actually just have that information out there for everybody who might be interested.
I'm
So,
part of the leadership class.
yeah. So I can certainly give you that information, but everybody that's here, I'll be able to get that information to you.
You know how to get in touch with me too, Dee, if you need to.
Yes,
I've been an Avatar for like 25 years. I came when I was 21. I'm 45. I'll be 46 this summer. And I'm also going to Disney, Florida. My first time on a plane.
Awesome.
Good for you. Congratulations. And Avatar's a fabulous agency. And they do shared living, so you may want to ask them. But if they don't have a good match for you, we'd love to help you out.
Yeah, we can definitely help her with that.
Yep.
Yeah, Colleen is fabulous. You can
Oh, I
tell
love
her I said
Colleen.
so. We all work together. We all cooperate. So um, there's never any hard feelings between the agencies. We want to do what's best for people.
And I think that's just a good point, right? Like you don't have to go to shared living. Like you don't have to go to Living Innovations or Mosaic. You can go to other places that better suit you. But I think Joanne and Cliff have done it, and everybody that has told their story has done a really good job of saying you have options. And so we just want to do what you want to do. There are 5 minutes left. Are there any other questions?
Well, I I got a question. I got something to say to somebody that's willing to join Avatar for shared living. Shared living's Avatar's a very good agency, and if they need help with getting into shared living from Avatar, I have my coordinator's number, and I can reach out to them and refer them to Avatar.
That's good to know.
Lots of choices. Isn't it wonderful that our
Yeah.
system has choices?
Yep.
And it's okay. We've had people go from our agency to others and others back to us.
Mm.
It's all good. You got to do what feels right to you.
Right. But if they want to chat with me after this Zoom, I will be willing to give my telephone number to them if they want to chat with me. Or Cliff, you can give me their. I can give you my number to give to them. It's totally up to you guys.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. No
Jan,
problem.
all yours.
All right. So if there are no questions and it's like 4 minutes to 12, I believe that we're gonna go back to the main room for just a few minutes and then we're gonna have lunch. So thank you, Joanne, thank you, Cliff, thank you to everybody who told their story. It was very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks for trying us.